Hello, reception, and today we're going to be starting a new story. And this is a beautiful book called The Extraordinary Gardener. And I'll go through what some of the words mean, but let's have a look at this story so far. I'm going to read the first couple of pages. And this book is by an author called Sam Boughton. Okay. You see it? Joe was a boy with a wild imagination. It took him far away to a world less ordinary. You can see Joe here. The world around him is black and white, and he is in colour. You can see he's made his own hat using newspapers. To a place very different from the world outside. And you can have a look at this picture, and it's a picture of, looks like a block of flats with different homes inside, different flats. And if you look carefully at the top here, you can spot Joe, and Joe is in colour, and the rest of the picture is in black and white. I'll bring it a bit closer for you to see Joe with his creations. So I want to go through some words that we've come across so far in this book that you might know or you might not know what they mean. So let's look at the title, The Extraordinary Gardener. So the word extraordinary, I'm going to highlight it just there so you know what word I'm talking about. Make sure it's all highlighted. Extraordinary. Right, extraordinary means when something is unusual, if something is special. So it's another word for special or unique. So I'm going to write that down, another word for special. So you could replace extraordinary with the special gardener, and it'd mean a very similar thing. So that's what extraordinary means. Let's go to the next page. Joe was a boy with a wild imagination. There's another word there, and that is imagination. I wonder if you know what the word imagination means. Okay, I will tell you what it means. It means when you have lots of pictures and ideas in your mind, and if it's wild, you have lots of crazy pictures and ideas, or unique pictures and ideas in your mind, unusual. So I'm going to write that just here. So the word imagination just means that there are pictures and ideas in your mind. And some of you might have lots of different pictures and ideas in your mind. And we'll talk about Joe's imagination in a moment. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So that's what the word imagination means. So Joe was a boy with a wild imagination. That just means Joe was a boy that had lots of pictures and ideas in his mind. It took him far away to a world less ordinary. So it's taking him to a different world altogether. Do you think the word ordinary means? If we go back to the first page, the extraordinary gardener, and the word extraordinary means special, what do you think ordinary might mean? Have a think. Okay, so ordinary is actually the opposite of extraordinary, and it means that something is just normal, everyday life. That's how it is. It's not special. So I'm going to write that there so you can remember. It's not special and it's normal. Just everyday life, just like that. So I'm going to read this one more time. Joe was a boy with a wild imagination. It took him far away to a world less ordinary, so a world that was less or less normal, not special, add there, or normal, to a place very different from the world outside. So his imagination, his pictures in his mind, took him to a world that is very different to his normal, ordinary life. I hope that's explained some of the book so far, so you understand it a little bit more. So we are going to think about Joe's world and Joe's imagination. So you can see a picture of Joe in his bedroom with his own thoughts and in his imagination. I want you to have a moment and think about what you think Joe's world might look like. What do you think is in his imagination? You can pause the video and talk to your grown-up or talk to your talk partner and have a think. Okay, so now you've had some time to think. You might think that Joe likes animals, and I think that because I can see a snake and a butterfly and a picture of an elephant, and I think that's a cat, and there's a bird, and he looks like he's making another bird. He's also got a globe, which is like a world, and another bird. So I think he really likes animals. So I think his world is more about the outdoors. So I'm just going to write something. I think the jungle. So I'm just going to write a keyword. Oh, let's move that here. Keyword in this box to help me with my sentence. Jungle and animals. So I think that Joe's world is full of different animals and a jungle environment. So what you're going to do in a moment is you are going to write a sentence telling me what you think Joe's world looks like. And I'm going to write a sentence, but you are going to write a different sentence in a moment. So we're going to think about Joe's imagination. And I've got my pen ready, I've got my lines on my board, and as you can see, I've got my phonics maps near me, so it can help me with my sounds. And when you do your writing, please make sure you've got your phonics maps to help you too. So my sentence is going to start with, I think Joe imagined. And I'd like your sentence to start in the same way. So I'm going to write that down first. I, with a capital I, and it's a tricky word I, think, let's actually make that a bit neater, straight, think, remember my finger spaces, I think Joe. So Joe has to start with a capital J because it's his name. I think Joe imagined. If you remember what I said, imagination means imagined. Give it the spelling. Oops. E-D. I-M-A-G-I-N-E-D. Imagined. I think Joe imagined. If you think back, I wrote jungle and animals. So I'm going to write, I think Joe imagined a jungle with lots of colourful animals. Because he liked colour, you noticed. I think Joe imagined a jungle, with lots of O-F, spelled off. Colourful, colourful animals. What goes at the end of my sentence? A full stop. So I need to make sure I read it back to make sure it makes sense. And if it doesn't, or if there's something missing, I will put it in. So you can help me read it. I think Joe imagined a jungle with lots of colourful animals. So I want you to start your sentence in the same way. I think Joe imagined. And then what you think Joe imagined. And I do not want you to use the same sentence. I want you to think using your brain. All right, I look forward to seeing your great writing reception.